What's going on, guys? It's Marcus here with Discover Ignite, where we discover possibilities and ignite change. And today I'm excited to be bringing you a book that I found very, very good. Now, I love the author, Mark Manson. If you don't know who he is, he's written that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and that book is fantastic. Definitely in my top 10. So yes, today we are doing a book review. So hold on, stick tight, and let's get this book review started. So I must admit, I am becoming a huge Mark Manson fan, and it's because it reminds me of my old military buddies, to be honest, right? About just sitting, talking about life unfiltered, right? But you know, Mark Manson gets a little bit more into it other than that. And I must say, through all his readings, even his other book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, right? It really goes into some really in-depth stuff, right? But a lot of times when you start getting into facts and talking about life, a lot of people, well, you know, they'll get bored, right? You get bored, and he subtly throws in cuss words and stuff to keep you on your toes, right? A little bit of entertainment throughout the book, which is really nice, right? While you're trying to relay a message. And that's ultimately what he does in this book. And it's a good reason why I like this book. I really enjoyed this book. Now, it had some really different parts in the book, which I thought was interesting, right? It had some parts in which, you know, started talking about religion, right? Because it's all about hope, right? About finding hope, essentially. And essentially where hope came from, right? And how hope was essentially established, you know, through religion, and essentially where we are evolving to, where we're coming from. And it talks about all those different things, right? And it's really intriguing how he ties everything together. And again, he's very entertaining through this whole thing, which is completely awesome, right? Because again, it feels like I'm talking to my military buddy about life. And it gets into some really, again, nitty-gritty things about some really different concepts about, again, where we're evolving from and going to, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things a lot of people forget, right? Now, I've talked about this before a couple times about how, you know, we're not hunting and gathering anymore, right? Like, our whole environment is completely different, right? Like, our perception of, you know, trying to stay alive, you know, food, water, and shelter, and that being in such abundance, right, at this point in our lives, as far as our evolution, that we are looking for other things, right? And so we are nitpicking about silly things. And he talks about a lot of different things in this book. He actually covers quite a bit in this book, which is really intriguing, and I can relate to a lot of the information in this book. This is, again, why I really enjoyed it, right? And a lot of times when I found like I was drifting off, you know, he throws in those cuss words like at perfect timing throughout the book. He kind of just sprinkles it through the whole book, and it gets you back on track. It makes you laugh. It makes you refocus on the book and what he's talking about, and get back into essentially what really matters, right? The underlying truth of hope, and how essentially hope has taken us through, you know, the years and helped us evolve. And so this book is just, again, one of those phenomenal books, and I truly just enjoyed it all the way through. And the book actually wasn't very long, which was surprising, right? I don't recall his other book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, if that was long. I think it was, you know, about the same compared to this book. But this book, again, it had some good concepts, and it talked about a lot of different things like I've been contemplating in my life, you know, about relationships, religion, about hope in general. And you know, hope is one of those things that, you know, you can lose hope really easy, and it's hard to build that hope up, right? To believe, to have faith in whatever it is. And he makes some good points, especially when he talks about the religion, right? Like, everything is essentially a religion, right? No matter what you do, whatever habit it is, and eventually dwindles it down to also science is a religion, but science is about facts, but it is also still a religion, right? People will still follow them. And then he does go into influencers and stuff like that, right? And how, you know, people influence other people, right? And that's essentially a religion. And, you know, do what I want you to do, right? And buy my products and all these other different things. And so it is a really interesting book, and I haven't read any kind of hope books, so I can't really relate to anything like that. But coming from him, Mark Manson, I think his book is phenomenal, and it's a great read. And, you know, again, this is why I picked it up, because I enjoyed his other book so much. And I had just actually seen him in a YouTube video. That's why I was like, man, he has another book out. I should probably go check that out. And sure enough, I bought it right off the bat, and I went through it in like a day, 2 days. It didn't take me long. Again, I enjoyed it. I do have a long commute, so that does help, but I was really looking forward to every time I was in the car actually listening to this book, because it was a phenomenal read. Now, as far as like any cons to this book, I didn't have any cons. I kind of threw me off a little bit with the religious stuff, because I was like, oh yeah, wait, the book's about hope. Okay, that makes sense. So when I got into that, but then the way, again, he entertains you through the book, right? It's not something like, you know, you're going to get bored out of your mind, or, you know, just stating facts. Yeah, he does state facts, right? He goes off of specific things, but then he jokes about it and he talks about it. It's just like sitting down with your friends again in a campfire, just talking about life and unfiltered. And that's what his books are really like. And that's why I essentially enjoy him so much. And if that sounds like something you actually would be interested in, I'm actually going to leave it down in the description if you are interested in. And if you did enjoy this video, remember to hit that like button on the way out. Till next time, I will see you guys later.